Hi everybody. Hey, I purchased a top dresser from a government auction site, and I'll be sharing how you can do that too real soon. I'm going to clean it up, paint it up, and then top dress my yard. If you'd like to see how this top dresser works, join me right now on Today in Iowa. Well, hi everybody. Hey, let's take a quick walk around the machine as I point out some basic features and functions of the machine. This machine was always stored inside and used very little. It was manufactured in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I was able to look through and past the dirt and rust and see this was going to be a pretty good buy. Here's the gate that you adjust from 0 to 5 to meter the compost that's going to come out of this machine onto your yard. Let's take a look at the conveyor belt now. All right, I'm going to adjust the gate here and show you what it looks like. There's wide open at about 5. There's probably 3, 2, and then down to 0 and closed. So you can see how wide you can open it or close it. I'm going to close it for loading today. Well, let's walk around the back. You can see the brush there. Let's continue walking around. The tires are a turf type tire, and they drive the conveyor belt and the brush. This is on the other side. This is the gearbox. Let's take a look inside. You can see how the wheel is geared over and drives the conveyor belt and the brush. And the way you engage these gears is with this actuator. This actuator has a cable. It might be 15, 20 feet long and comes up to the operator's seat on the tractor. And then I can open and close it as I need to. Again, looking right in there, I've got that cover off. That's usually covered, so you'll be able to see the conveyor belt working. Here you can see the way it's connected to the tractor. There's that cable I talked about, and I'm really tickled to have the top link on this because I'm able to change the pitch of this machine. After damaging that top link, I was speaking with a friend out in California, Ty, and he gave me the idea to reverse that valve you see right there. So instead of it being closer to the tractor, I put it to the rear of the piston. I didn't change the direction of the piston, only the placement of that valve. Now I can raise it higher and I avoid all the pinch points. That was a terrific idea. All right, let's go get some compost now. We're going to go about 70 miles south to Davenport, also known as the Quad City area. We had to wait for a train to cross for about 45 minutes. So if you plan on visiting this compost center, give yourself plenty of time. Look at the mounds of compost down here. Man, this is solid gold. The facility smelled earthy, and I couldn't wait to get a load and get it on my yard. All right, the way it works is you pull up to the office, tell them how many yards you want, then you pull over, and then the tractor or the loader operator will give you, he'll get a scoop on there. This is a 3-yard scoop, and then he'll signal you to come ahead and load you. Look at all the other products they have there, too. So again, I said I wanted 5 cubic yards, so there's 3. And I like this guy's math. All right, that's 3. All right, let's go ahead and get another scoop. So I'm going to get 2 more, right? Boy, I like this guy's math. I bet I got 6 yards there, right? Wow, what a pile of compost. I can only describe it as like... it's the consistency of ground coffee, coarse ground coffee. Here, take a look at the load now before I leave and get the tarp on it. And we left the facility, got it all tarped, and come around the corner. Oh man, another train. You're killing me. How long's this one going to be? Oh good, it's only 3 engines. Well, it's surely not going to stop and back up or do anything crazy like that, is it? So I'm anxious to get this stuff home. And it stops. Oh boy. I thought if he backs up, I'm just going to jump out the window. Doesn't he know I have beautiful compost to get on my yard? All right, obviously somebody called him and says, get this guy back to Dubuque. Away he went, and up the highway we went. All right, up the highway we go, about 64 miles an hour, and look. look at the compost flying out the sides of the tarp. I'm spreading compost like a sand truck in winter. It's coming out both sides. I'm coming across I-80. I've only got about 7 miles, and then I can get off the expressway. Cars were keeping plenty of distance. I imagine what they were thinking. So I got off that highway and finally got home. I'll never use that trailer or tarp again. So here it is. All right, remember what it looked like at the yard? And here it is. See the peak? The peak's all gone. So how much did I lose? We'll look at that a little bit later. All right, here's the next day. I borrowed another buddy's trailer. It's got higher sides. It's got a higher tailgate. The tarp goes across the whole top and down the sides, so I lost very little. I also threw on bag compost on top of it to act as ballast and hold things down. And then I also put a half a dozen bags in the pickup box. So I came home with 6 or 7 cubic yards instead of 5. Sounds a lot more efficient to me. Now the tailgate was hard to get off because it kind of compacted around it. So I just used the forks, put the forks through the handholds there and pulled it right off. That sure works slick. This trailer has an electric hydraulic piston there, hoist, and able to raise that. I really like this because the cable's long enough. You can come back and look at it and unload it. Well, there was stuck in there and not quite coming out as well as I expected. So I just pulled ahead. Is it me or is it everybody? The newer trucks, you can't slam those brakes on as hard as you used to be on the older models. So I'm just going to go back and forth here and stop and try to get that material out of there. But it's going to lead to a little bitty handiwork, and that's okay too. All right, like I said before, a little handiwork, and we'll get this load out of here. And the nice thing about hauling compost, rather than sand and gravel, you just wash it out and give your lawn some compost tea. So we're all cleaned up and ready to go. I'm going to kind of tidy up the compost, how I tailgated it and spilled it out the back. Then we're going to take a look at the 2 piles and determine how much we lost. All right, you be the judge. Take a look at the front of the pile. We'll walk around here and take a look at the profile view. I don't know. I think I'm going to tell you I lost about 20%, considering the 2 trailers, probably bringing home 3 in one and 7 in the other. So that's the trailer I'm going to use going forward. All right, here's the yard we demonstrated with the Everything Attachment Lawn Plugger in video 116. And I would imagine 3 weeks, 4 weeks have passed. And here's a view of the front. All right, one thing that I did this time that I didn't do when I aerated the lawn was cut it to 2.5 inches. So this is the John Deere X758. It's a diesel engine, and it never disappoints me. With my sloping land and steep land, this 758 goes anywhere I want it to do. And I'm very comfortable mowing steep slopes that I have. And when I purchased the 2038 and the 1025, I didn't purchase a mower deck because I had the 758. And that was a good choice for me. All right, the lawn's all spiffed up. I've blown most of the debris off of it, and we're ready to go. Now, a couple things before we actually get spreading it. Here's the plugger holes from a few weeks ago. Here's my carpenter pencil. Notice I marked 3 inches and 7 inches, just to give you some reference. And, you know, I'm getting 2 and 3 inch plugs there. So I'm excited. I've got the seed down in those holes. Now I'm going to put some compost down behind it. And I think I think this will be a good process. I parked the top dresser wrong, so I have to straddle the hitch to load it. Oh, there go my gloves. I was wondering where those were at. Hey, I'd like to take a minute and do a few shout-outs here while we watch how nice the 2038 loads this hopper. Charles checked in all the way from Spain, from the island of Mallorca. I believe the city is pronounced Arana, Spain. That's on the island of Mallorca. I hope I have that right. David checked in from Utah. Jeff from Custer, South Dakota. Twisted checked in from Manette, Alabama. Dean from West Virginia. CD from Clovis, California. Jamie, hello from Merrimack, New Hampshire. The press shop engine checked in. Engineer from Indiana, Greencastle, Indiana, in fact. Graham, hello. San Marcos, Texas. Dean in Denver, Colorado. AJ checked in from Anahola, Kauai. That's the smallest island out there, looks like, to the west. Ray checked in from the Big 5 Tractor Works. He's just 25 miles north of the southern border in Edinburgh, Texas.
I don't know. I'm going to set it 2 inches. I guess that's 2. I don't know. Let's find out.
Yeah, let's find out. So I started out with setting number 2, and we'll see how that works for us. There's the controller I spoke about. Hear the actuator moving? I asked my wife to stop in the back. There, you can clearly hear it, can't you?
Yep.
All right, so that has an on, an off, and a neutral position. And later I'll show you I made a mistake and ended up composting my whole driveway. But I'll explain that later. This
no,
is
it's
nice.
going down.
With that top link, that power top link, I'm asking my wife to tell me where level looks. So I was able to adjust that from the seat, change that pitch, and here we go. This is number 2 setting, and we're just going to take our time and go across the lawn here.
There he is.
There's a little bit of a pause, I imagine, by the time the conveyor engages and everything connects. And this is the view from the top seat. I really can't see anything. There's a mirror I forgot to put on that after I painted it that would allow you to see in the hopper when it gets real low. But this isn't a bad view here. I can tell when I'm running out of product. But you won't see many more top views because there's just not much to see.
I mean, you don't really want to see it, right?
Camera?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, here's a good example. You know, it's just kind of a dusty. Okay. I'm going to go to 3.
Okay.
All right, I decided to go further ahead with setting number 3. Remember, I can't see it, so I could not see it until I looked back at the video, and this number 3 was a great setting to start with, I think. Later in the video, I'm going to jump it up to level 5 and show you what that looks like, and then we'll compare the 2 settings. I go across some of the asphalt, and I'll show you what it looks like at a 2 setting and a 5 setting, and you can come to your own conclusion on what you'd like to use. But look at how nice this stuff cascades out of the back of that top dresser. You're going to see me go around here in circles, and while I tried to just make one pass over the yard, it got kind of small in some places and tight, so I had to go over other areas 2 or 3 times. Later in the video, you're going to see how I use a backpack blower to thin some of that out, and that worked really good. I was really surprised how far the compost went. I'll check my notes, but I believe this is 3 loaders, 3 scoops from the tractor into the hopper, and it went a long way. I'm looking at the facility's website right now, and they advertise this as a high-quality compost that can be incorporated to improve soil conditions as a top dresser for existing turf. Soil Builder contains 100% compost, no added soil, sand, or fillers, and is an excellent soil bin. So far I'm very happy with this. This website also reminds me that those bags that you saw, those are 1 cubic foot bags, and they're $2 a piece. And then the bulk material that I brought home looks like it was $12 a yard when you're buying between 1 and 10 cubic yards. We'll have more. We'll have a little math problem here later in the video. One thing I wanted to show you was be sure that you disengage that actuator when you back up and it's not disengaged. I heard a clicking sound, so I don't know what was going on there, but I learned real quick. Be sure that's disengaged when backing up. All right, I think we got some nice coverage there, don't we? Well, then the skies opened up and it started to rain. Take a look on top of my roll bar. Did you see that GoPro camera? I drove into the garage and sheared that thing right off. So, lesson learned. All right, so let's take a little bit closer look on what it looks like with the rain. I've used a lot of Milorganite in the past, and that gets kind of a gummy, tarry type appearance to it, but the compost stays whole there and just lays right in place. I can feel some of the water going down in the holes. There's compost down in those holes, so I'm pretty excited about next spring to see how this looks.
So far we've taken 3 scoops out of the pile, and it takes 6 bags to fill the bucket. Six bags fills the bucket.
And each bag is a cubic foot, not yard, so 6 cubic
18 bags would
feet.
fill the compost.
18 bags fills the spreader, okay.
So 18 bags would be 18 cubic feet, and that would be 2 cubic yards, correct? So looking at yesterday's work, I was able to do 2 cubic yards over a couple thousand square feet. So I'm going to remember a cubic yard to 1,000 square feet. So that's about $12 a thousand for some very rich compost. I'm happy with that. Before we move on, I wanted to show you how I turned the top dresser around. Now I'm coming up to the rear of it, and it's a lot easier to load. I also learned later in the video that you can pull this with a Kawasaki Mule or a UTV. I still wish I had the 1025. Boy, you'd have a nice operation going there and wouldn't have to disconnect your tractor at all. And if I had real nice level land, I think I could pull it with the 758. And what I'm trying to show you here is how nice that top link is again, because the tractor's on sloping land and the top dresser's on level land. So it's so nice you can just change the pitch back up to your connection and away you go. Things just wonderful. And I left this part of the video in so you would see how easy this turf dresser is to back up. That long neck on that turf dresser sure makes backing up a breeze. Now next I want to show you how I end up composting my asphalt driveway up here. So watch this. Alright, so as I reached the top of the hill, I thought I was in the neutral position. So around I went. Remember, I can't see the rear of this until I got around and I look back. There we are, and I see all that compost all over the place. So I reached down and turned the controller off. The switch has 3 settings, off and on. I was in the center setting. There's on. You can hear the actuator. See, there's off. Well, I thought it was off. Listen. There. So that's why I composted the driveway. But take a look at it. It's pretty even. So you can really get a good visual there of the way it lays it down. And remember, that's setting number 3. You can make it a lot heavier, a lot lighter, whatever you want to do. And here I wanted to demonstrate how I did the front of my yard. That slope is just too steep for my comfort level. So I would back down and pull uphill, and it worked out just fine. Now I'm going to open the gate all the way up to 5 as far as it would go, and let's see how that what that does. And while we watch this, I want to do some final shout outs to a fellow by the name, or he goes by Splash, and he's from the United Kingdom. How cool is that? Doyle checked in from North Carolina, and Larry checked in from Northeast Ohio. I don't want to forget Kevin Burkhart out in Michigan. So I'm going to show you here at the end what I'm up to. I've made a push pin map and a digital map, and let me share that with you. You know, again, I'll say it again, if I had the land where I could just get a single pass, I'd open that gate up to 5 and go right across there and be done. That's a nice coating. You may think this is a little thick, but I'm going to show you what I do with the leaf blower, the backpack blower here in a minute. So here was with the gate open to the max, and there you can see was what we were doing, I think on setting 3, wasn't it? Yeah. So there's 3, and there's, I guess you call it 5 or 6. But since I was running over some spots multiple times,
I think the 3 was the setting for me. Now if I was going to be, if I had a nice level yard and could do one pass, I'd probably take it to that 5 and just go across at once. That'd be pretty nice. Yeah, that's nice.
All right, and then the areas I decided to do that I can't get in with the top dresser, I just hand dress it. And you don't have to be very careful, just sling it on, and I'll show you how I'm going to even that out with the blower. While we watch this, I want to thank everybody who's subscribed or who is considering subscribing. Thanks a lot, everybody. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your kind comments. As I've said before, I'll answer every comment. And if you give me your city and state, I'll put you on the pin map, and I've got more information on that in just a minute. What I'm trying to do here is expose the blade of grass. As long as it's not covered up and can get to the sun, or the sun can get to it, it's just fine. So I'm blowing the compost out quite level, and it's working very good. In fact, I use this method to dethatch my yard in the spring. Well, then it's time to clean up the top dresser. I'm not about to use any water on this. I'm just going to dry clean it. And you can see the blower does a real nice job there. And then it's time to clean up the driveway. And that's just blow that all off into the yard, and we'll be all set. But here's what I was talking about earlier, and I wanted to share it with you. I've started a push pin map. So when you tell me what state you're in, and you even go so far to tell me the city, then I put a push pin by your map, just like I did here for the Big 5 Tractor Works in Edinburgh, Texas. Now let's stop the map here. You can see Tom in College Station, Texas. Rick and Debbie are in Fort Worth, Texas. Let's see, this also shows Chuck in Bald Knob, Arkansas, and Kaz over in Oak City. Here's Robert checking in from Big Sky Country up in Montana there in Great Falls. Appreciate him checking in. Hey, let's look at our friends over in Canada. We've got, this represents Robin in Midland, Ontario. We've got Jason in Ontario, Canada. Over in Terra Nova, we got Ernie, and long-time viewer Stephen in Newcastle. This also represents, let's see, Jonathan over in Utica, New York. So I think this is going to be quite a bit of fun. If you don't mind giving me your city, don't worry, I'm not coming to your house. And I don't want to forget a shout out to Ty out in Watsonville, California. Him and I share ideas from time to time, and I sure appreciate his friendship. You know, when I said I wasn't going to come to your house, now I might have to reconsider that here, because this is AJ's place out in Kauai, Hawaii, so maybe we should go there. Just kidding. Hey, and one last thing I wanted to share with you. I've got to address my worldwide friends that check in, and I'm working on a push pin map, a digital push pin map. Here's AJ's place there in Kauai again, just to show you how I can zoom in now and really place the push pin accurately on where you're at. And let's go. I'm just getting this built now, so be patient with me. And let's scan across the U.S. there. I've got a few people in there, but let's go over to the U.K. and the Spain area. Splash checked in from the United Kingdom. He didn't give me a city, so I just plugged him in there. And here is Charles' place on just south of Barcelona. And I can kind of zoom in there right into his city and recognize him. How cool is this, the way we share ideas around the world? This is all magic to me. I just love it. Well, look, everybody, you all have a great month. I'll talk to you soon. Be kind to each other. I really appreciate thumbs up and subscribing. It helps my videos be seen. Be safe, everybody, and we'll talk to you real soon. So long.